Hi, my name is Emmanuel Retumi, and once again, let me welcome you to NexGen Pulse. This is a platform that focuses on the young generation, Gen Zs, Alpha, and the Beta generations. Our commitment to these three categories of people is that we want to help each one of them to master the necessary skills so that as they get into their retirement, they will be productive and have fulfillment. Now, today I want to focus on a very, very important subject. I call it the six characteristics of mistakes the alpha and beta generation must know. The six characteristics of mistakes that generation alpha and beta, together with Gen Zs, must know. Now, why am I talking about this? Now, in recent times, we've read and heard of a lot of suicidal thought ideation among this category of people. Some of them have even gone ahead to commit suicide. There are so many young people today who are mentally imbalanced, but they have no one to talk to. You go to our schools today, but that at the age of 19, 20, 21, most of them are in the undergraduate programs, and all manner of pressures, family pressure, economic pressure, and what have you, and they have no one to talk to. Many of them find themselves in certain category among groups and people that they just don't know what to do about them. My friend, what I'm trying to do with today's program is that I want to give a sense of hope to this class of people so that they would understand that when you make a mistake, it is not the end of your life. When I talk about alpha generation, I'm talking about the demographic cohort that were born from 2010 to 2024. That is what we call the alpha generation. They come after the Gen Zs and immediately before the beta generation. That is the alpha generation. So my objective is that I want to share strategies on how you can develop a different perspective about the mistakes that we make in life and maintain a healthy mental state no matter how much your mistakes have cost you. And please listen, everybody has made mistakes before, all of us. So what I'm seeking to bring your attention as by way of what you are going to learn from this presentation is that you are going to learn about what I call the functional definition of mistakes. What are mistakes? Then you will learn about the characteristics of mistakes. And then finally, you are going to also learn about how to maintain a healthy mental state regardless of the mistakes that you have made in your life so that you can prepare for your retirement. You can prepare for the next phase of your life. Now, but before I start, please, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I'll please request you join us by subscribing and liking the video. Please share your comments in the comment column so that the more you share the video, the more we are able to have the momentum to do more research, do more quality content for you so that we can all grow together for the future that we are looking forward to. As I mentioned, suicide remains the third leading cause of death among adolescents and young adults aged between 10 to 24, according to World Health Organization Global Health Estimate, the year 2021. This is empirically based. Now, so if you look at it carefully, undergraduate students at the tertiary institutions, as I mentioned earlier, most are in their early 20s, and they are facing significant levels of stress in the form of academic knowledge, academic workloads, poverty, peer pressure, and separation from family. Yet, there are no adequate guidance and counseling professionals to guide them in the institutions of learning where they find themselves. So, what can we do to support these people? Now, John Hangman, a very famous philosopher, he said, if there is a silver lining to bad times, it is this, that when faced with severe challenges, our mind is at its sharpest. In other words, what John Hackman is trying to let us understand is that when we go through challenges, when we go through tough times, when we have made certain mistakes, and it's as if all hell has broken loose on us, Instead of throwing the towel and instead of behaving as if we've lost it all, he said, during such times, if we can be very, very calm, it is during such time that our brains are at its sharpest, our minds are at its sharpest. So, what does it mean, my friend? What I'm trying to let you understand is that there's a lot that we can learn from mistakes. There's a lot that we can all tap into when it comes to mistakes and how to, develop to the next level. So the question we are asking is, what is a mistake? Because you see, it's important for us to understand what we are talking about before we can now try to understand the attributes or the characteristics and therefore how to handle it. So the question is, what is a mistake? When we talk about mistake, what are we talking about here? A mistake is any act or outcome that affects you negatively, but you don't have immediate control over, and therefore appears you have become a victim of it. That is what a mistake is. Any act or outcome that affects you negatively, but you don't have immediate control over. And therefore, sometimes it appears as if you have become a victim because there's nothing you can do about it. And as I said, most of us, all of us there's no human being on this earth that I'm yet to meet that can say that he or she has never made a mistake before. Mistakes are events or conditions that are major setbacks or a major change in your anticipated outcome. And I'm going to give you some very good examples. Because you see, if you set on course to do something in your life, and for some reason something happens, and you're not able to achieve that, and what happened was not, it could be out of your own effort or whatever, but anything can happen. It could be accident, whatever, that can make you have certain outcomes that are different from what you intended to have. And I'm saying that when you make a mistake, even when you have planned, you've done all your planning, and some things don't go the way you expected, please don't throw in the towel. Don't say that you can't make it in life. For example, you want to be a graduate, you want to go to university, but you happen to have joined a bad association and you got pregnant maybe in your teens, or even when you were in the university, you got pregnant in your first year or second year, and therefore you don't know what to do. It's a mistake. What are you going to do? Are you going to abandon your education because you got pregnant? Or what are you going to do? Some people say, I want to abort it and I want to. What are you going to do? And I'm saying to you, once there is a mistake, don't always look at the mistake from the point of view of mistake. You could have a better perspective and a different perspective about that same mistake that you are talking about here. And that is what I'm going to show you. Now, again, sometimes you are a young person, you find yourself associated with, certain bad companies, and the people are in prison today, not because they are bad people, they happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time because they happen to have associated themselves with the wrong people, and therefore when the police came to do a sweep, they all caught together with the people. So such things, when you happen like that, what are you going to do? Are you going to forget about your dream and say, well, since I'm in prison, that's it, I'm not going to be able to do anything again with my life? I'm saying to you, if you have a better appreciation of what a mistake is and have a better perspective, you can become somebody, important. Now, there are people who have been advised by guidance and career professionals, counselors, and yet they didn't listen to them. Today they've had a shipwreck of their lives. They have regretted. It's a mistake. But I'm saying that don't stay in where you are. Don't stay in that mistake. Because once you know it's a mistake, I'm going to show you how you can deal with it so that you can become better than where you find yourself in. So the issue is not whether you will make a mistake. You will definitely do them. It's about whether when you make them, you will continue to stay in that mistake, or you can get up and push forward to the next level. That is what we are going to talk about here. Now, there's a very famous quote by Shakespeare. Shakespeare said, "Sweet are the uses of adversity." Sweet are the uses of adversity. Now, what Shakespeare is trying to convey to us is that it doesn't matter the mistake that you have committed or you find yourself in. You can have a sweeter outcome of that mistake if you can have a better perspective of that mistake. That is what we are going to be talking about here. So let's first take some moment and look at the characteristics of mistake. What are the characteristics of mistakes? Before you can understand what to do with your mistake. Let's first of all take some time to understand what are mistakes. Number one, mistakes are the price we pay for a full life. Hear me very well. Mistakes are the price we pay for a full life. Not all mistakes come to destroy us. Please understand this. I said earlier, you can be a teenager and you got pregnant, even though you wanted to go to the university. Now, that pregnancy may not have come to destroy you. Because if you decide that because you have gotten pregnant, you are not going to go to school, you are not going to go to university anymore, then that becomes a bigger mistake. Or you find yourself among a bad company and you happen to have had some sort of brush with the police. That's fine. It's a mistake. But I'm saying that there are better lessons you can pick up from that, rather than thinking that that mistake has come to destroy you. Because you see, a mistake or mistakes come to purify us and reveal our true strength and creativity if we learn quickly from them. Anyone that have learned from the mistakes that he or she committed in the past, talk to that individual. That person will tell you that he's a wiser person, he's a better person because of the mistake that happened to him or his life. That is what we are talking about here, my friend. So understand that mistakes, I'm talking about the characteristics of mistake. Mistakes helps us to think about new ways of looking at an old problem. Because now when if you're a young person, you find yourself happen to have gotten into a wrong company and what have you, the next time somebody else is coming to talk to you, you don't just listen. The mistake that you committed earlier would enable you to be able to ask the right questions. Because then that old mistake is helping you to look at things from a different perspective. That is a benefit you get from mistake. That is the characteristic of a mistake. A mistake is an opportunity to improve or advance your old ideas. Listen, if you are an entrepreneur, for example, and you happen to have engaged in a certain somebody in a certain transaction and it didn't work well, I tell you, next time somebody comes and you want to engage another person again, you see that the way and manner you would go about it is going to be different from what you did earlier on. That is what mistakes do. Okay, so mistakes are opportunities to improve or advance over old ideas. Again, mistakes produce growth and development. As I mentioned, because you made that mistake and you paid a price for it, next time when that same opportunities, that same occurrence happen, I tell you, you are not going to approach it the same way that you did which resulted in the mistake that you did. So that is a characteristic of a mistake. The second characteristic of a mistake is that mistakes can be a catalyst for positive self-discovery. There's something we call serendipity. Something you did not expect, but it just happened. Okay? As an outcome of whatever you were doing, especially if you were able to learn from that mistake and bounce back. So your mistake can be a catalyst for a positive self-discovery. Like I mentioned, you can engage yourself in a certain transaction and it goes bad. Next time a similar opportunity comes, believe you me, you are not going to go in with your full legs and energy the way you did the first time. Why? Because that mistake has helped you to rediscover who you are and therefore to approach it from a different standpoint. Number three, mistakes can become revelatory. Mistakes can become revelatory. Your mistakes can become a doorway into new possibilities. Look, there are people who have made mistakes, and as a result of the mistakes, they've become a different person now. They don't deal with people the way they dealt with people earlier on because they've been beaten before. Because they exposed themselves to almost everybody. And as a result of the way he was treated, now he has become matured. He has become, certain things have been made known to him. That is what mistakes. So we learn from our mistakes all the time to become better. And that is what a mistake does. So it produces new opportunities. Okay? And it therefore also manifests true leadership abilities. Mistakes can also ignite the passion for a renewed vision for your life. That is what mistakes do. Okay? So a mistake can be viewed from a different standpoint. Point number 4, mistakes are a test of your commitment and faith in your dream or purpose. Please listen to me. If you really believe in your dream, and if you really believe in the vision that you're pursuing, whether business, project, whatever, if you really believe that you can attain it, listen, when you make a mistake, see that mistake as a test. Whether you want to go back to that dream or not. Because you see, becoming what you are meant to be will not come in exchange of nothing. It will definitely cost you something. So that mistake could be a price that you have to pay in order to be able to get the dream that you are looking for accomplished. Because nothing wealthy comes on a silver platter. So when you make a mistake, rather than becoming discouraged, rather than saying that this is the end of it, and then I'm not going to be able to do anything better out of it again, please understand that that mistake is only a test. And all human beings who have done something great in life have been tested before. Look at Joseph. The guy, right from Potiphar's house, he could have said, hey, listen, I give up. Look at even when he was in prison. Huh? He interpreted a dream for somebody, the first one, the second one, for 2 years he was forgotten. But he didn't just give up. When he was called and said, Pharaoh want to see you, he could have said, what does he want to see me for? After all, when I helped somebody, the person did not support me or whatever. But listen to what happened. The moment he heard that the king was looking for him, the Bible said he shaved. He kept himself clean. That means he learned from that mistake and realized that the vision that he's pursuing, wherever God is taking him, there could be tests, there could be challenges along the way. And that is only a test of his commitment to that dream and to that vision. That is how you must see a mistake. Because every mistake is a test of your commitment, of your faith in the vision that you are pursuing. Number 5, mistakes can become informative or a source of creativity. This is so true. The universe does not give strong visions to people who have not survived night darkness. And that's a fact. So, the mistake can be a platform, a springboard for you to be able to rediscover something and be more creative about the project that you are pursuing. Because you spent so much money, you lost money because somebody, did something that cost you so much money. Next time you are going to do the same thing, you'll be creative about it. Why are you now creative? Because of the lessons you picked up from the mistake that you made earlier on. That is how you must see mistake, my friend. So if you look at your mistake as a springboard, as a way of you being able to become creative and to be a source of information for you, you'll be surprised that whatever you do thereafter will be sharper, more refined than the earlier one. That is what mistakes do. Number 6, your response to mistakes can expose you to the grace of God. Listen, there are many people today, they are more humble because of the mistakes of the past, because of the losses they incurred in their lives. It has brought them closer to God. If Adam had not fallen, there would not have been anything called grace. The same thing applies to all of us. My friend, let the lessons you are picking from your mistakes guide you, make you humble, so that you can become what God intends you to be. That is what mistakes are for. So don't just say that because you've made a mistake, because something happened in your life, because something happened in the past, that is what you are going to be. No, mistakes don't define you. Mistakes are not there to say that this is the end of your life. So the question I want to end on is this: how then do you develop a healthy mental state in the midst of your mistakes? You are in school, you are pregnant. Some people have been repeated in certain classes because of the mistakes they happened in the past. Are you going to say, I don't want to repeat the class or what? No. How do you deal with it to have a better mental state of your mind? Number 1, accept that you have made a mistake, but you are not a mistake. Accept it. Accept that you have made a mistake, but you yourself, you are not a mistake. There's a difference between the actor and the action. You are not the action, you are the actor. The fact that you have made a mistake doesn't mean that you are a mistake. No, you are not. You don't have to be imprisoned by your past mistakes. Get out of it, learn from it, and just brush it off. A blind man will say, "Oh, I see." What does he see? Blind man says, "I see," because he doesn't see with the physical eyes. He sees with the mind. Let your mind give you a better perspective about the challenges, about the mistake that you have made, and therefore move on. So that is how you create a better mental state. Number two, although you cannot control the effects of the mistakes you have already made, listen to me, you can always control your thoughts about the effect of that mistake. You may not be able to control the effects, but how you perceive that mistake can be controlled by you, because you have the power. It's in you. And that is what you can do to have a better mental state. Never look at the problem. Look at the solution. Look at what you can get out of that problem as a solution. But every misfortune has equal opportunities in them. So please, whenever you make a mistake, even though you cannot control the effects of that mistake, the impact of that mistake, how you choose to interpret the impact of that mistake is very, very important. And that you have the power to control that. And then number three, your mistake is not final. Please listen to me. Everyone makes mistakes, as I've said earlier on. So when you make a mistake, don't say that you are a mistake. Don't say that this is somebody said, Ebenezer, this is where the Lord has brought me. Ebenezer, this is where the Lord has brought me. It's not in the context of mistakes. It's in the context of advancement, because of knowing that this is where God has brought me and God is able to take me further to where he wants me to be. That is the mindset you must have, my friend. That is what this whole is about. So in other words, you can interpret the effects of your mistake for your benefit. You can. So always learn how to interpret the effects of your mistakes for your benefit. And if you can do that, then you are in the process of having learned how to create a better mental state out of your mistakes. Finally, God will never define you by your best mistake. Please note that. In the midst of the mistake, as you cry, as whatever, please tell yourself, God will never judge you. God will never define you by your worst mistake. Let your mistakes be the pathway to God's abundant grace. And I'm telling you, if you can do that, you'll be amazed as to what is going to happen. I don't know how many of you have benefited from this particular episode, but please share the link. Let all young people who are suffering from mistakes, who think that this mistake is going to destroy them, who think that because of this mistake they can never advance to the next level of their life, please share this link with them. Let them know that they can never be defined by their past mistakes. They are better and well prepared by their mistakes for tomorrow. Therefore, they should learn from that mistake and move on to the next level. My name is Emmanuel Detumi. It's been a pleasure coming your way. Thank you very much.